to No Movies in Hell. I'm Chris Geiger.
I'm LaClaw Scott, and today we are reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't even think it had like an alternative title. It was just Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, yeah. And this was advertised as kind of the final in the
Yes.
series.
Yes. Which was interesting compared to other Marvel movies where you're just like you wait till the end card and either it tells you if, what's going to happen, but yes, James Gunn, the director of this film, said this is their final go round with the current cast
Mm.
for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was fun.
I was going to ask, so have you seen the other two of these films?
I don't know if I've seen two other films. I may have seen one.
Okay.
I think I saw the last one,
Okay.
but honestly, I couldn't tell. In fact, I was surprised. I didn't realize Bradley Cooper was the voice of Rocket. So maybe I
He,
haven't seen either of the first two.
well, to be fair, he absolutely does no press for this film, with the exception of this one. So I did see an interview pop up, and I was like, oh, wow, he actually did press for this. So it's probably over.
Bradley Cooper, awesome. I really loved Nightmare Alley when it came out.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think he's gotten a lot of recognition lately in terms of his, with A Star is Born and Nightmare Alley. I think he's really gotten a lot of recognition for his acting chops. And I think that's enabled him to do things that are more fun and kind of make fun of himself, more kind of like the Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I think that's awesome.
I mean, I kind of felt like he is more of an actor than a celebrity. It's one of those guys that like takes it likes to take on fun challenges. Like, I mean, he started. I remember him when he was like the villain in the Wedding Crashers, and then of course it was like then he was like on the Wedding Streak, right? Like with the
Bachelor Party,
Hangover
or
movie.
yeah, The Hangover, yes. Bachelor Party was a
Um,
totally different movie.
and then yeah, and then he did, the voice of a Rocket for almost the past 10 years. So what first Guardians movies was in 2014, which I saw, and I was like, whatever. I have to say, these are probably the best character development of the Marvel, the current Marvel like phase that we're in, because you know all these they all have different backgrounds, they're all working together, they have their own quirks, they have the jokes are hilarious, the situations that they're in, um and it's just, yeah, they're part of like, the other MCU, and they're starting off something different, but I think that there are lots of relatability for and family fun, despite I think it was the first F word in a PG-13 in quite some time.
All right.
They exercise that in this film. But I have to say, this is probably one of the best. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is probably one of the best MCU films I've seen probably since Ragnarok. That was like 5 years ago.
I was gonna say it does really remind me of the Thor
Hmm.
movies in that it's funny, where a lot I think, you know, Ant-Man and Wasp. I was so burned by Ant-Man and Wasp. I can't. I almost didn't see this because I was like, I can't. It's
I was totally thinking of you. I'm like, I wonder if Chris is gonna like this film because she didn't like Ant-Man, and I think, yes, there's the Marvel fatigue too.
yeah. But this was fun, and I liked how campy it was. I liked
Yeah.
how, and we'll talk about this maybe a little bit later more, but I liked how the costumes the costumes were great, but they were also very like almost 80s Star Trek-ish. Right? Like they're campy and they're, multicolored. They're spacesuits, right? Where they're like going into that organic spacecraft thing are all different colors, and there's the no, you press blue for orange, and you press orange for yellow, and you press Like that was great. And the guys who are in that organic thing are like wearing these almost ptarmigan sort of costumes that are puffy. I really liked that part of it, that they had fun with the costumes even.
Yes, definitely.
Let's go to the slide. So 28.5. That's almost
Yeah,
perfect.
this is almost perfect. Completely up there. As I stated, I think this is a really great MCU film. I enjoyed the acting. I enjoyed like almost every facet of this film.
It seems like
How about
something
you, Chris?
it seems like something that they had a lot of fun making too.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the dog character, Cosmo. I thought she was great. Which is this the first time she's been in this series, or she's existed previously?
She is in another film, but I think as like an Easter egg in in a scene. Um yeah, but she exists um in the comic books as
Mm.
a character, just like Adam existed as a character and was teased, from the first movie and the second movie until now, where he was a character, uh, kind of briefly, unfortunately, in uh, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I feel like with this series, they kept true to more of the comic book nature, um, than any of the other kind of MCU films.
Did you have any particular items that you wanted to call out?
Yeah, so I thought the story was very interesting, and I liked how, each movie kind of tackled either one or two of the characters, backstories. And with this one, you really got to see Rocket. Like you just know him as kind of like this angry raccoon, and he just detested when people called him raccoon. He was very like just angry at, the world, but no one knew why. And then you get to the why, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And I saw there's so many parallels, like you think of animal rights, you think of um, just, everyday human rights and how things just get destroyed quickly. And of course, there's so much destruction in the MCU. Like, I just wonder, like, if you look at it on a scale, like who does the most damage? Because it's literally like everybody destroys a planet, a civilization, or something. It's just like there's just why this is a
Right.
continuous theme. And I thought this one was really good, and the villain was very, gosh, like so evil. Like it's just horrible. And yeah, there are a lot of really dark moments in this film that are just, even when you have Nebula looking at what happens to Rocket, it's like, wait, this is way worse than my father torturing me, was a pretty powerful line. Um, and, thinking about forgiveness and just, knowing that these characters are finding an end. And I like the fact that, it's almost like, well, for Guardians of the Galaxy, like we have to go back and resolve our internal issues with family, etc., or finding our own path before we make a path forward. And that's exactly what, Star-Lord did. That's what Mantis did. And then what, some of these other characters are, finding their family. So, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great end. Probably not over, but those are
Right.
really the big takeaways that I had of this film. How about you?
So going into it, I thought that it wasn't gonna be, I didn't think I was gonna like it. I mean, it looked, the trailers, there were some funny parts and it indicated that the soundtrack was gonna be great, which I did really like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
The I was worried though, because it was, those trailers were playing alongside the Fast and the Furious new, and there were a lot of parallels in the dialogue, right? It's all about family,
Vin
all about
Diesel's in
family,
both,
all about
so
family, right? So I feel like a lot of movies these days are so focused on tying everything together with family that they sort of overly rely on that, to the degree that there's the plot is terrible, but they just say, oh, we're doing it for the family, and then that covers a lot of sins. I was worried that was going to be the case with this, but it wasn't. The story was actually really good, and it did tell you a lot about the different characters and the things that they went through, and it was enough that it was mostly Rocket, but it was enough about the other characters that I felt like I wasn't lost. So I was glad about that.
Vin Diesel only does family movies, and he was the voice of Groot in this. So.
Are you going to see Fast and the Furious?
I probably will.
Have you seen the previous one?
I've seen 1 through 8. I need to see 9. I know. I was like, it started, back. Gosh, this is going to be going on for over 20 years, because it started definitely back when I was in Southern California, and a lot of the car culture, and it paralleled a lot of that car culture, and now it's just, it's ridiculousness. It's gone above and beyond, and now The Rock is in the series, and John Cena, and Brie Larson, like,
right, Helen Mirren, and Charlize.
Oh, yes, Charlize there. Like, who is not in these films? Like, who is not in the franchise now?
Right. Well, I've not seen any of them except Hobbs and Shaw, and I only watched that one because Jason Statham is in it. And I didn't realize he was in the other ones. Because I never watched them, and they didn't really promote him in.
He's probably like a minor character in like one of them.
Okay.
And hence why the crossover. But wow.
And he's in this one. He's like in he's featured in the trailer. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll go see it. I don't know. It looks.
I know, it's like I had to catch up on 9, and yeah, I'll see 10.
I mean, there are people in it that I like, right? Jason Statham, Charlize, Helen Mirren. Like, there are people in it that I really, if they did something else, I would go see it. So why not this? And just take it for what it's worth. Do you have anything to plug in this episode?
So a lot of great films coming up. We got The Little Mermaid at the end of the month. Of course, the Barbie Oppenheimer going to be a double feature in July, and I feel like, when I saw this film, there were more like extended trailers for Oppenheimer, so it's getting good. It's getting good.
That does look
good. How about you, Chris?
I've seen the Mission Impossible trailer too, and
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh wow. I've seen it a couple times now, I think, but the stunt work in it looks amazing. And I've watched like some of the YouTube videos where they've released like the behind the scenes stunt work. It looks awesome. And how many more of these can like there possibly be?
Yeah, well, it's under 10, right? I haven't like really caught up with Mission Impossible, but I did see the latest one.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of like kind of movies that I'm looking forward to that I hadn't really heard a lot about, but they keep popping up. So there's a comedy coming out, Fool's Paradise, with Charlie Day. I think he's funny. There's a documentary coming out about Yogi Berra that looks good. So yeah, there's gonna be some random ones in there for sure.